From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 173. I am Chris.
And I'm Steve.
That's just very realistic sounding.
Yeah, I'm like that guy from Police Academy.
Yeah, you have these impressions.
Yeah, of sound effects.
Well, why don't you have an actual beer in front of you, Steve?
I can't get rid of this whatever ear thing that I've got going on. So I'm on a course of antibiotics, and it's been almost a week, and it hasn't really done much of anything. So
no beer.
So no beer, and I don't know if I finish these antibiotics and it hasn't solved itself.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go and fucking talk to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. or something
an ENT.
Like that. Is that what they?
I think so. It's an ENT.
Is that the acronym that they use?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds perilously close to an EMT. So I mean, you don't want one of those.
No,
I mean,
I imagine they would help me if I needed it, but
right.
I don't need them right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's if you don't. I mean, because if an EMT comes around, that might mean that there's something stuck in your ear, like they got to get it out, like a Q-tip or a cock or.
Why?
I don't know.
Why do you got to work blue, Chris?
Why? Oh my God! I gotta tell you.
Oh, you have a story.
A little bit. So I posted a video this week, which we can talk about at some point. But I swore in the video. Which I know surprises everybody listening to this right now.
Yeah, because you never swear on the
never
show
fucking
or talk
swear,
about cocks
or balls, or shafts, or labia, or
say this cat shafts one bad mother.
No, but so I swore, and there was a former student of mine who wrote to me.
I'm gonna pause you for a second. I'm hoping at least our audience said "shut your mouth."
Wait, what?
Your line was "shut your mouth," and I would have
it.
said, "I'm just talking about Shaft," and then you say, "Well, we can dig it."
Oh, see, I don't.
But next time,
never saw.
You've never heard the theme from Shaft, though. It doesn't matter if you've seen the goddamn movie.
I'm sure I've heard it, but I guess maybe I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics.
It's the song that made Isaac Hayes famous.
Well, I know. Well, the song that made Isaac Hayes famous to me is whatever song he sings himself.
Salted chocolate.
Yeah, that's the
salty balls or whatever.
I mean, he that's what made him
chocolate,
famous.
Salty balls.
In my mind, was him giving advice to small children.
Hey, everybody, have you seen my balls?
So I swore in this video, and a former student wrote to me, concerned that if I didn't learn how to bleep myself in my videos, I might lose my job. And I was like,
you could swear in a lecture and you could not lose your job.
I have sworn in a lecture.
Yeah, why would you lose your job for saying?
I don't know.
Did you just say the word fuck?
Fuck.
That's all you said.
You
weren't telling people to fuck.
I was not prescribing sex as a restorative technique. No.
You were just saying. Was it an exclamation like "fuck"? Come on, seriously?
No,
you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
Like that.
I think I used it as an adjective.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because I was very angry about this particular topic, and
was it a hot topic?
Well, it was a topic that I occasionally got horribly off of, but. It was about Justice League. It was a movie that's out this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard.
Oh, you hadn't heard. I hear it's not doing as well as maybe people had hoped.
Well, it released right after a very funny, successwant Marvel movie.
It did, like 2 weeks after, and
it's still in the theaters.
Yes.
So if you are torn, if you want to see a comic book movie right now. Mm-hmm. Which, it's summertime, so it's perfect time for it.
Yeah. When the weather gets hot.
Go to Water Country?
It's a very cool spot.
Yeah. I mean...
You got choices.
You got a choice of, which comic book movie you're going to see. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen Thor already...
Right.
And you've seen the reviews of either, you're going to probably go see Thor.
Yeah, probably. Your average person is gonna see that 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they're gonna say, "Yeah, I think."
I mean, it's not as bad as some other movies, like
Sure.
like Emoji Movie, I think got a 0%, or maybe there was one critic that was like, you know what, wasn't that bad, and it got like a 1%.
My sister-in-law was over this weekend, and she and her son
Singing praises for the Emoji Movie.
They had rented the Emoji Movie, and she's like, "Well, we were in the car, and she's like, well, we can watch it when we all get home." And we're like, "We don't have a DVD player anywhere." The only place where there's a DVD player is in the living room where my parents were watching TV. And so I was like, we're not going to tell my parents they got to get out of there so we can watch the Emoji Movie.
I think that would have been a funny little exchange.
Yeah. No, but she's like trying to get us to watch the Emoji Movie because, thinking all the kids will love it. And she then admits that she has still, over the 3 or 4 days they've had it, because now I guess it's overdue back to Redbox.
Redbox.
She has never watched it all the way through. So her son has watched it a bunch, but she has not watched. And I'm like, are
there any little kid critics like little or kids that are?
I mean, there
critics?
should be. I mean, there are kids watch things on the YouTube and kids react and those kinds of things. But I don't know if they.
No, I mean, it would have to be like, I think an above average intelligence child.
Yeah.
That could like say things in like kid parlance.
Right.
For children for like watching the Emoji Movie. And
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe I should.
Because there's
that's how I should put my children to work.
There's a lot of kids movies out there, and I imagine like our parents didn't much care for watching a whole heck of a lot of them.
Probably not.
Like Care Bears movie and
Yep.
Transformers. I imagine probably wasn't as bad.
I don't think
because
so.
I remember the plot of
Transformers
that being and like having a lot of talented voice actors and so. Yeah,
Death and Destruction.
Yeah, and it was emotional beats.
Yeah, Death of Optimus Prime is still I can get kind of weepy listening to that music. Just saying.
All right, so I'm gonna.
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
Don't worry about saying fuck.
I won't worry about.
I'm gonna bring up last week for a second.
Okay, follow.
So we can put it to rest.
Okay.
At least for the moment. Mm-hmm. So like this past week.
Yeah.
The news came out about Al Franken.
Yes.
Which.
Senator Al
Franken. Like, I imagine a lot of people felt like I felt when the Louis C.K. news came out.
Yeah.
Because as much as Louis C.K. is a funny guy, he's not somebody that's in the Senate and is fighting for a lot of people, like constantly.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, Al Franken may have been a comedian in the past, may still consider himself that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I imagine a lot of people felt how I felt when the Al Franken news came out. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of that time where, and I've brought this up before on the show, where we were at that Chinese food place in Salisbury. Okay. And Becky was singing a song in karaoke, and this older lady was like dancing with me and going up my shirt. And I, like, seriously, like I wouldn't.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
It's fine. Like, this has stuck with me for a reason because it was something that I really didn't like. Yeah. And, it's something that I felt powerless over because, like, I mean, there's a good chance I could have overpowered this woman. Yeah. But if I had done that, that would have been like an even worse situation. Probably. Yeah. So like, but looking at it from the other side, she was not trying to ruin my day. No. She was like, this is a sexy man. I'm intoxicated. I'm going to rub up on him and whatever. And I'm like, ugh. Yeah. So I think what we all have to just kind of put into ourselves, and like everybody that listens, I imagine everybody that listens in each other don't necessarily need this advice, but I think if someone is just listening for the first time and is a moron, they could take this advice. All right. But this is just what I think that, because like everybody in the world has done or said something that has made someone else feel terrible, regardless of intent.
I think you're safe saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever you do for the rest of your life, remember that. So the next time you might react poorly to something, or try to be a little bit more aggressive with somebody sexually than you should, or any sort of fucking thing in your life.
Right.
Just take a beat and then be like, is this going to make them feel terrible about themselves? Like, and not just like, we razz each other on the show.
Right.
Often, and whatever, it's fun, and whatever, because you and I know that we care about each other, and like the razzes are meant completely in jest and not to hurt.
Agreed. Yeah, that's actually the part that I have the most. I
like using the word razz too.
Razz.
So that's just basically what I wanted to sort of tie the bow. End that conversation, and then unless you have
I don't have anything else.
Add.
I think that's a good way to tie it up, to put a bow on it.
Yeah. So it's the same thing as pay it forward. It's the same thing. Just try to be mindful.
Yeah.
About the things you do and say.
Yeah. Try not to be an asshole.
Yeah. Try not to be an asshole. No matter.
And I think if you have been an asshole, try to apologize for it.
Yeah. It may not be accepted, but at least I don't know if that personally helps you feel better about what you've done.
Yeah. So, if the person does not want to hear from you, don't go.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, if this is a person that has said never talk to me again, that's probably a good good idea to not talk to them again. But
right. But if it's somebody that you are still engaged in conversation with in some way, shape, or form, then I think there's the opportunity to apologize.
All right. So there's our public service announcement for today.
Yeah. The more you know.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Let's move on. What else is on the fucking list?
So,
we can go back to your.
We can go back to.
I just wanted to get that out of the way so we could get back to funny shit.
Yeah. Well, let's
possibly.
Possibly
funny shit.
Possibly funny shit, like me swearing my head off in the parking lot of the.
You didn't even wait to do this review.
No. So my tradition. Mostly it's just been with the Marvel movies. I haven't done it with the DC movies or really any other movies. But my tradition has been, as soon as I'm done watching the movie, usually on a Thursday night, I go out to my car and I record previously just an audio clip and now a video clip, because I'm doing this video every day I'm 40 thing. So,
are you going to continue into 41 next year?
No, I'll be lucky if I can make it through 40. I keep missing days.
That's okay.
But so I watched Justice League, and I went right out and I got into my car, and the review started off calmly enough, and then the F-bombs started, and then more F-bombs dropped, and so it was about a 10-minute video of me going on a rant.
Unless you were using the other F word, I don't think you'll be in any sort of trouble.
No, I don't think so. But here's the thing. So I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, just like...
And I'm not talking about fart. God damn it! There was so few farts in this movie.
Oh, God, farting! Damn it!
Was there any farts in the movie? Did Submariner? Oh, sorry. I stole that joke from Half in the Bag, and fucking Aquaman. Did he fart himself out of the water?
I think that's how his powers work. He farts, and that propels him across the oceans. I don't recall any particular farts. No, but I could be missing something. Maybe Flash farted? I don't know. Seems like Flash might fart. He's
fart
younger...
so fast, then run around the world, and then be like,
and he smelled it. Oh yeah. I think there's a Flash.
Oh, I just ran into my own fart.
Oh, that's a plot twist right there. They should hire you and make that a movie.
What, Flash farts?
Flash. Yeah. No. So I went into this movie. So I saw the Rotten Tomatoes scores. But I went in, as I often try to do, and I said to myself, I am going to like this movie. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to go in and I'm going to enjoy this movie and I'm going to like this movie. That's the starting point that I started from.
Oh.
And I think that's why I ended up swearing so much, because and I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version, and I'll link the review in the show notes so people can go watch the 10 minutes of it if they want. But the gist of my argument was that villains who want to destroy the world are table stakes in superhero films. And if you want to have a villain who wants to destroy the world, you need to make us care about that villain and about that villain's relationship with the heroes in particular, or else it's just all bullshit. And that's what it amounted to, because you had a bunch of characters who had great banter, who had great relationships. You had a good supporting cast. A lot of minor subplots that actually, were pretty compelling. But the villain was some CGI mess, which I'm sure maybe people have heard, who had absolutely...
What was he called?
Steppenwolf.
Like the band?
Yes.
Did they do Slow Ride?
No, they didn't.
No, they did Magic Carpet Ride.
Did they?
Yeah.
I can't remember what.
Was he coming up to young children and come with me, little girl?
No, I mean he rode in on.
Was he Roy Moore?
He. God.
Was he banned from the mall?
Oh my God.
Was Steppenwolf banned from the mall?
I thought we were done talking about it.
Well, if we're going to make jokes about the other side, I'm glad about it.
No. So the problem with Steppenwolf ties back into a general problem about the entire structure of the movie, which is that, even if you don't like... I know you slept through at least one of the first two Thor movies. But
the second one.
Okay. But you know how at the beginning of the Thor movies... if they're going to give you any sort of history of Asgard or any of that bullshit in those first two movies, they come at the very beginning, right?
Right.
And then eventually they kind of make whatever happened in that very beginning, or they try to tie in with the characters in the modern day and why the characters that we care about, right? And they succeed or fail to differing extents. I think the first Thor movie succeeds because for the most part, because the villain is Loki, and we've watched the whole movie and we've cared about Loki and we've cared about Thor. And yeah, there's the dumb fucking sorry. There's the dumb fucking robot that they send from Asgard, which kind of fucks up that movie. But whatever.
The first one, yeah.
The first one. The second one that you fell asleep during, they give us all the sort of history at the beginning, and then they fail in kind of the same way that Justice League fails, in that they've got this fucking elf guy who had some connection to not even Odin, but Odin's dad, was the one he had the beef with, and they kind of make him a villain by having him kill Thor's mom, and so there's that's making him the bad guy.
If they had just made the villain of the third one,
yeah,
the villain of the second one,
yeah,
I mean the main villain,
yeah.
I think it would have made the second one a better movie, and I think it might have made the third one a better movie.
I think there was a point at which the villain of the third one was going to be the villain of the second one, and I don't know why they held off on it, but that was actually the plan.
Because then all that stuff has already happened.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to remain vague for people that still haven't seen it.
Yeah, still haven't seen it.
And so then Thor goes off to the place that he ends up, and then that's the whole movie.
Yeah, you could have that
instead of it being a villain of the week,
right.
a villain that's going to destroy the planet or this dimension or whatever.
Right.
It's a guy that's just a fucking really powerful but weak guy.
So Justice League waits till half an hour into the movie to give us that basically historical scene of what the hell happened. And Diana, Wonder Woman, is telling Bruce, I was going to say Banner, Bruce Wayne, about this history. Except that she wasn't there for it.
I'm Buttman.
And he wasn't there for it. And it's supposed to be this is all the I mean, what they're trying to establish is that all of these people from different walks of life joined together to stop him. So the Amazons and the Atlanteans and all the tribes of men, and they sneak in a guy with a Green Lantern ring into the montage, so there
was
you
it
go.
Ryan Reynolds?
It was not Ryan Reynolds. Flashfarts. And so like they do that, but then he shows up and he starts beating people up. It's just fucking nonsense. All the stuff between the characters was great. Between the heroes was great. And the mid-credit scene should have been fantastic, and kind of was, because it was a jokey scene that ties into something that everybody wonders about.
A wonderful woman?
No. Well, I've already spoiled some things. Superman is in this movie. Even though Superman is supposed to be dead.
He's supposed to have died in the last one, yeah.
But I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that Superman was coming back. I mean, sorry. So Superman's in this one, and Flash is in this one, and there's a common question, popular enough question that it was asked on an episode of Lost back in the day of who would win in a foot race, the Flash or Superman. And
the question is flawed, because why would Superman agree to a foot race?
Yes, why would Superman agree to a sodding foot race? Thank you, Mr. Pace.
I didn't do an accent though.
But at any rate, so like that's the mid-credit scene, and it's hilarious. And the final the end of the credit scene is also pretty compelling. But just the movie is so close to being a good movie that makes it why it's such a bad movie.
Was there? I think what they tried to do is, because like I think Wonder Woman was a surprise hit for them.
Yeah,
they didn't expect it to do like super well.
Yeah.
Super well, like a superhero movie, and I think they tried to jam more of her into it. I didn't see it, but I'm assuming that's what they did, because I think she was like seriously lacking in the film.
I think, and then I don't think she's in it that much more than she would have been in it originally.
But I think they might have added some scenes.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, well, people like Wonder Woman, put some more of her in there.
Yeah. I don't think the filmmakers of this movie, which Zack Snyder was the original director, and then Joss Whedon came in to sort of bat clean up and do. And
so is there a lot of witty repartee between the superheroes?
There's not. Somebody made the point that because both of them had a lot of work on it, but the result is that it feels like a movie that doesn't feel like either. Doesn't feel like either of them. I mean, the very beginning. They open up with this sort of standard Zack Snyder trope of a song playing over a bunch of clips and montages, which is actually a pretty good beginning. It was a cover of Everybody Knows. Everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Like the world has gone to shit because Superman's dead. Like that's sort of the theme of that opening song, and he does that stuff pretty well. He should just go be a music video director.
Didn't he do that before?
I don't know if he did. I mean, at any rate,
I know that Edgar Wright did before he teamed up with Simon Pegg and did a whole bunch of movies.
They did the Cornetto trilogy. That's what they call those.
Oh, because they have the little ice cream treats
I guess.
in them.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wanted to like it. I told you I went in wanting to like it, and
you didn't. Is the verdict?
I liked so many little parts of it that when it didn't pull together, I was so mad.
Maybe we'll go to see it on Monday or 2-for-1 Tuesday over at the cinema.
It's not terrible. It's not good either. It's like it's a movie that could be good if they had made different decisions. And I could
say that about a lot of movies.
I could and I did outline. But the thing is I talk to my students about
stories.
About stories.
Well, I imagine being.
Yes, I do talk to them about stories. No, but I talk to them about this book called Screenplay by this guy called Sid Field, and his whole thing is that you can, in plotting out your films. Or your stories or whatever, you can put all of your, and can and should put all of your scenes onto index cards, and at some point in the process, and then take the index cards and move them around so that you can say, all right, if this scene happened here instead of here, well, how would that change the story? And this is what I'm saying is that if they put the Steppenwolf stuff at the beginning, right, so that we understood, oh, this is a bad guy come come from ages and ages ago. And this is why we should fear him, is because in the same way that fucking Lord of the Rings starts, is like, here's fucking Sauron, and here's all the people that had to come together just to beat this one guy.
Yeah.
So that we'll be afraid for 3 movies about Sauron coming back.
Yeah, because he was a fucking beast.
Right. And then the rest of the movie can be about, interpersonal conflicts or whatever. And then if he does show up, right, it's not really about him so much as it's about the characters that we've journeyed along with. It's a mess. That scene should have been earlier. There are other scenes that should have been later. I don't know.
Well,
it could be so
Warner
good.
Brothers does not seem to know what they're doing with this fucking thing.
They almost know what they're doing though now, and that's what's so. Oh, it's so frustrating.
I never gave a shit about DC anyways.
I didn't either.
So let's stop giving a shit, Chris.
We should stop giving a shit. And we should stop taking a shit. And
no, we should definitely continue taking shits. I think that's important to your life.
But, okay.
If you're just holding in your shits, you're not going to have a very good...
that expression, there's that expression's all problematic anyway, because, when you take a shit, right, that sounds gross. Right? I'm not...
taking a shit when you're leaving it.
Giving a shit to the toilet, right? I'm giving a shit to the toilet. I'm not taking a shit
Why
out
are you
of the
driving
toilet.
the parkway and driving mama? Who are these people? Sorry.
The other movie I watched this weekend was Hidden Figures. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
Yeah, okay. It's a good movie.
That no seemed like I didn't want to see it. I'm like, if it was on...
It's on HBO now, and that's how we saw it.
Like, there's been a lot of movies that came out on HBO recently that we've sort of wanted to see, but just haven't watched.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour movie, but it's a pretty fast moving 2-hour movie, and it's a PG movie. Like, and we watched it with the kids, and it was good.
So it was like mostly historical, but a little bit of fiction.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I imagine that every time you do a major motion picture about something historical, you have to add an element of fiction, probably. Because maybe something in real life wasn't as interesting as that, or compelling or whatever. Yeah,
but they did a good job with it. It's an inspiring story about some black women who are responsible for the space program and all that business, and it was good. So that was a pleasant surprise. I thought it would be good, but I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. And especially after going to see Justice League a couple nights before, I was just like, please let me see something
movies.
Good. Fuck movies. I don't like movies.
Well, I had a couple of pleasant surprises this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So on Friday, I took the bus to where Becky works instead of taking my normal train home and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And she said, I'm going to run over to Target and whatnot and see if there's a thing I want there.
A thing that you want, or a thing that Becky wants?
I think a thing, I know a thing that I wanted.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about this thing is that it's been one of those things that's been tricky to get for quite some time.
Ah, okay. The thing about the thing with the thing.
It's the SNES Classic.
I already knew what you were talking about.
So I'm just in case the listeners didn't.
I think it was quite clear where the thing that's a thing that's hard to get because of things. That's
because of like production issues probably, or Nintendo just being assholes.
Yeah.
I decide yourself. But there was an opportunity to get one, and Becky got one. But there's a friend of hers, and I will let this friend remain nameless. I don't think they listen to the show anyway, so I don't think that's an issue. But this friend wanted to get one for her husband, and so there's, I think most retail outlets have the one per customer kind of policy on things like this. Yeah. So they're not just selling to one scalper. Right, I'll take all of them. Thanks. Yeah. Bye. Yeah. So in order for me to know, or for me to get this one for her friend, I had to know that she already got one. Because if she didn't already get one, then she could have obviously just got it.
Right.
But since it was Christmas spoilers.
Spoilers. Oh,
but there's other things that on my list that could easily be surprised.
People have started asking. Well, my kids. Who think that I hate Christmas? Everyone starts asking.
Well, you do, don't you?
I think I have seasonal affective disorder. I think is what I have.
Well, yeah. I mean, it gets dark and it like what are we recording around 3:30?
3:50. Yeah, we started recording at like 3:30 or 3:20 or so, and now it's 3:50.
So yeah, it's almost 4:00, and the sun it's finally set enough. I think it's beyond the
not
tree line. It's not in your
my
fucking eyes anymore. But yeah, I mean, the sun is setting. It's 4:00, and so I don't blame you because like without a certain amount of sunlight, you get a little bummers.
I think a lot of it. So I think that's part of it. I think I've always had a hard time in the latter, in basically December and January, and even February to some extent. December, January, February, are kind of shitty months for me. But I think because I think this current streak of dad hates Christmas started when my grandmother got sick around Christmas time a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like 2013, she went into the hospital the day after Christmas, and then pretty much never came out. She went to a nursing home and whatever for a little while. But
yeah, that was like. Wasn't that right before we like?
Yeah, it was
that ordeal was like right before you got shingles.
Yes.
And then right after you were done with shingles is when we started the show.
Yeah. So, so I think...
Fun fact, both of us have gotten shingles.
During the run of this show. You can go back in time and listen to those.
Right.
So, it's not that I hate Christmas. It's just that Christmas is not like what it used to be. And I'm still getting used to whatever it is now. And my kids are getting older, and it's not we haven't had a big sort of obvious gift to give them in a couple of years. I haven't had a gift for myself in a few years. I haven't had a really great gift to give to my wife in a few years. Like, it's just I don't know. It's kind of just become a day when my parents buy us a bunch of stuff.
And I'm going to quote Garfield here. It's not about the getting or the giving. It's about the loving, Chris.
That's such a nice point, Steve.
I mean, Jim Davis, he knew his shit.
He did. He did that good old. I don't want to get horribly off topic, but the way that we watched Hidden Figures was that I subscribed finally to HBO Now, and I'd been meaning to do this, and I also subscribed to Hulu. And on Hulu, I was going through last night and looking at all the stuff I might want to watch. Garfield is on Hulu.
Like the
cartoon
Garfield
series.
and Friends?
Yes, Garfield and Friends, the cartoon series, all of it on.
Are you going to just skip all the U.S. Acres?
I don't know. I remember being I'm not stoked, but I remember being very interested in U.S. Acres when it would come on, and I don't know why, because
it's like when you would watch Heathcliff and they would have the other fucking I forget what the other fucking show or there was Heathcliff episodes and
right, and then
it was fucking some other thing.
I don't know. That's a good question.
What the fuck?
I mean, did anybody actually like Heathcliff?
I think I did like Heathcliff.
Yeah. I mean, Garfield was my jam, but and I have friends who liked Garfield. Maybe I wanted to like U.S. Acres because I thought that could be my thing. Everyone else liked Garfield. I could have U.S.
We could
Acres
like them both,
I know. But I mean, we've talked about this. We've alluded to this in the past, and now I'm realizing maybe it was more about me than it was about my brother. We each had our things when we were kids. He-Man was his thing, and Transformers was my thing, and Star Wars was my thing, and it just went down the line. And there were things that were his things and that couldn't be my things, and I got messy in high school when he liked Nine Inch Nails first, and then I decided I liked Nine Inch Nails, and I think he stopped liking them. I mean, he probably kept liking them, but it totally.
You guys all went to a show together, didn't you?
We did. Yeah.
Even your dad.
Yeah.
Because Bowie was there, wasn't he?
Yes. Oh, that show. Oh my gosh, that show.
We'll save that for another time.
Yeah. But so it's Christmas. My kids have certain things they want. I've done a little bit of Christmas spoilers. My daughter Kaylee has a phone. She got a phone for her 10th birthday. Is it her 10th birthday? Yeah.
Do you know how old your kids are?
I couldn't remember if she got it this past birthday or the
I'm
birthday
fucking
before.
with you.
Yeah. So she got a phone for her 10th birthday because she was about to start middle school later that year, and we wanted to be able to keep tabs on her, and if she had emergencies, for her to be able to call us and have her come pick us up.
Yeah, I mean, in case you're really hammered
Kaylee,
at the Hong Kong.
Come down to Hong Kong and
on your bike. I'll sit on the handlebars.
So anyway, I had this thought that that I would surprise her possibly by getting her a new phone, which she's been wanting. But I had to pay off her current phone with AT&T because we were paying in installments. And for whatever dumb fucking reason, the other night she was sad, and I said, "Oh, Kaylee, come over here. We can do something cool." And I showed her me paying off her phone, and she's like, "Does this mean I'm gonna get?" And I'm like, "Fuck! Why did I even? I don't know why I said that, because now if there was any chance of me ever surprising her by getting her a new phone, it's out the fucking window, because the reason."
And plus, you're talking about it on the show, which she listens to religiously.
I mean, but she, like, now she knows that the only reason she knew that she wasn't getting one anytime soon was because we still had to pay off the phone.
Bonehead.
I'm really fucking dumb.
Or, no, I'm going to say what Lucy would say to Charlie Brown. You blockhead.
Oh, thank you. Charlie Brown and Eeyore were my college nicknames.
Your spirit animals.
Charlie Brown... A little bit more. He stuck around. I mean, I got out of my Eeyore phase, I think, but
rats.
I got a rock.
So there was more stuff that happened.
This weekend. Yes. So,
I didn't just get
spoilers. We're not the only thing.
I didn't just get an SNES Classic.
You didn't get it yet, though, right?
No. It's I'm not gonna touch it till Christmas. It's not like I've never played any of those games before. In fact, one of them is in my my Retron 3 right now, and I think a lot of them I actually have the carts for. But, it's a cool little retro item thing that has them all in one little place.
Yeah.
And I can hook it up, and it's HDMI, and it's...
I don't want to delay talking about the other cool thing that happened, but I was looking today at, because the other thing my kids have mentioned wanting, and my mother has shut them down at every turn about this, because she's like, you don't even play the Wii, is they want a Switch.
Yeah.
And I was looking today, like, to try and, like, see if there was any way I could justify that. And I was like, I don't even know if there are that many games that I want to play.
There's a lot of fucking great games on the Switch. Yeah.
That's the thing. I just don't know.
I don't know if you dig Zelda.
Zelda was never a thing that I spent a lot of time on, but I've heard such good things about it.
It's how are you on open world like?
That's the
games?
thing is I've never found one that I really got into, because the open world is so big and so vast. It's almost too much.
That game, and this was playing it often, took me 3 months to complete.
Yeah,
And you are a person with a lot less time for playing a game.
Yeah.
So you would need games you can consume and
more
digestible. I think Super Mario. I haven't even played it yet, but I have it.
Oh,
but
Odyssey.
so many people have said that Super Mario Odyssey is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like those two games alone are good enough reason to buy the Switch. Yeah. But now that it's been out since March.
Yeah. It's not as supply constrained.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are some available now, and the amount of games that are out there for it are more numerous at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know if like the girls I don't know what games that they would really want to play.
So I can already tell you they're sold on some specific games because their uncle. My brother-in-law had one and has brought it to a couple of family gatherings. So they really like 1-2 Switch.
Which is the game that most people that buy a Switch get, and they're like,
my kids love it. What was the other one? I think
Snipper
I saw
Clips?
you guys playing. Yes, yeah.
I think they would probably like Snipper Clips.
Yeah, they played that a little bit, and then
which is actually a cheaper
and
game.
Mario Kart, because they've never had Mario Kart in the house. We've borrowed it from people or friends have brought it over, but they've never had Mario Kart themselves, and they really want Mario Kart.
All right.
So like those things, put together, like there's enough cause for the girls. It's just, would anybody else in the house make use of it? And I think the point that at this point, almost nobody uses the Wii for anything.
Yeah, I mean, like the excuse that no one uses the Wii. I mean, like the amount of games that I've played on, because like I have the Wii U, which in essence has my Wii on it.
Right. Yeah.
The amount of times I've played Wii games is not particularly often.
Right.
And so that excuse is, I think, a complete moot one.
Yeah. I think what comes down to, like, the games that I like to play are old style side scrollers, and infinite runner type games on my phone, and I love playing.
I'd say if you like any sort of Sonic games in the past, like Sonic Mania is.
Well, Stephanie grew up with a Genesis in her house, so she likes Sonic a lot.
They have a new Sonic Forces game, which has gotten mixed reviews, but Sonic Mania is basically like a well done homage to every single Sonic game that was ever made.
I think going back to what I was saying before, and then I want to get on to your other good
my accomplishments.
Your accomplishments,
yes.
Which was a nice surprise, right? That was there. I think because I'm sitting here going, Christmas isn't like what it used to be. We don't get any sort of marquee gifts really for us or for the kids anymore. That in and of itself is leading me towards it might be fun to get a Switch, and my kids would be pleasantly surprised because their grandmother's been saying no. So I don't know.
Well, just look at what you got for a budget, and then plan accordingly.
Right. So what was this other thing that happened this weekend?
All right. Well, for those of you who have been following the saga of Steve and his pinball escapades, you might have known, or may not have. I don't know if I actually said the date on the show.
I don't know.
So November 18th, yesterday, was the day of the pinball finals for the A, B, C, and D divisions. So it was at the Sanctum in Meriden. I always want to say Meridian.
Yeah.
But there's not an extra I in there.
Meriden, where is that?
Connecticut.
Oh. Okay.
So we had a little bit of a haul, and Becky drove, and she was a trooper.
Yeah.
For taking me all that way.
Right.
I mean, she got to play a little bit, but she, but there was so many fucking people there. It was ridiculous. And it was loud as fuck. Imagine, 40-something pinball machines all going at once and all making lots of sounds. And there's a jukebox that you can hardly hear because there's so many fucking pinball machines making lots of fucking noise.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a long day so I was in the B division. I ended up in second place in the B division. But since the first place person didn't attend the finals, I ended up being the number one seed.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it didn't matter. I think the top 8 had a first round bye.
Yeah.
Which I was one of.
Right.
So I didn't have to play the first round, and I was trying to. It was very hard to distinguish who I was actually, who I might have played, who was in the B division. So I was just kind of watching games here and there.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people there, and I mean, it wasn't a small space, but it wasn't big either.
Right. Yeah.
And so the first, was it the quarterfinals?
If you had if you had a bye.
Yeah, so my first round was the quarterfinals, which I started off with a bang. The first game I had to play was Demolition Man.
Okay.
Which
based on the movie Demolition. Okay.
Yeah, and so Demolition Man is an interesting machine, and it has these triggers on the side that you can use instead of the flippers.
Okay.
Which, if you are adept at using them, I don't, because it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Like because the flippers are there and I can use them.
Yeah.
If you use them, every combo you get, like, it adds to your bonus. You get basically double the amount of bonus that you would get if.
So it acknowledges that that's a harder mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the guys I played that game with was using it, and he got a decent amount of bonus as a result. My first ball of that game, I scored 1,000,000 points. That is not good. That is a fucking terrible amount of points for that game. I was going to
say 1,000,000 points sounds like a lot of points to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
I pushed the launch button. It did not make it to my flipper before draining. And I was just like, ugh, what a way to start. And then, everybody else had a pretty decent first ball. Then I had a very good second ball.
That's what she said.
I had two. I had two multi balls. Got a couple of jackpots, and so I pulled into the lead.
Okay.
After I basically gave this isn't fucking hard enough, Steve. You need to fucking make the first round of pinball you play a 2-ball fucking game. Which the guy, one of the guys I was playing, he was fucking right on my tail as far as his points were, because I went first.
Yeah.
Which is I never, like, if I had a choice, I would never choose to go first.
Yeah.
I like going last.
Yeah.
So I know what I need to do.
Right.
Sometimes that what I need to do is quite a feat.
Yeah.
But I'd rather know that than be the pace car. But yeah, so like I had the lead at that point.
Yeah.
And he was the one that was closest to my score, and he tilted. Now, for those of you who don't play pinball often, when you tilt, any sort of bonus you get, and he was the guy that was using
using the triggers.
Yeah. So any bonus you get, or you would get, you basically don't, because you tilted it. You basically tilt your bonus away. If he hadn't done that, he probably would have beat me.
Shit.
So, the next 3 games,
you handled things.
We had we did Pinbot and Jackbot.
Okay.
So Pinbot, I think you're probably familiar with that. You've probably seen, it's at Fun Spot. You've probably seen and or played it before. It's a one of those early mid 80s games that a lot of arcades had, because it was a popular game. I won that one, and Jackbot. I did. I think I was the only one to get to multi-ball, and I also there's the thing about the games that we played.
Yeah. Oh,
the other one was 8-Ball Deluxe. That particular round, every game I played, I knew the rules.
Okay.
So that's an important thing about playing a game of pinball. You can do well without knowing the rules,
right?
But it's a lot easier to know what you're shooting for.
Right.
So, in Jackbot, which is basically the same, almost identical playfield to Pinbot, but the rule set is completely different. So, what is it? I think there's this visor that comes down, and then you shoot one ball into each of the eye holes of the robot, and then you start the multi-ball. But in order to open that visor, you need to hit it a multitude of times.
Okay.
But if on your first ball you hit it it's sort of like strobing, back and forth, one line here and there, and if you manage to hit that one line, when it's lit, it opens up the visor automatically, which I did.
Oh, shit dog.
So I did that, started multi-ball.
I'm sorry, I just said shit dog twice in one conversation.
Shit dog.
Shit dog.
And then, not only that, I there's a bunch of casino. There's 4 casino games you can play that are in the like a scoop that's right near the visor.
Yeah.
You shoot it up there, and I hope people aren't bored with listening to me talk about pinball. But
I'm learning.
Sorry,
we're
like it's going to be. It's probably going to be the rest of the show. So if you don't like it, fuck yourself. So shoot it up into that scoop, and like you can play 4 different casino games.
Yeah.
It's like I think there's cards, there's dice, slots, and Keno. And there's a button right underneath the plunger.
Yeah.
That says, I think it says extra ball or something.
Right.
But if you jam on that button, it'll occasionally allow you to cheat on the game.
That's what she said.
Sure. And so like
I mean, if you jam on the button well enough, maybe she lets you cheat.
Stop. So when you complete one of these casino games, it gives you the option to double or nothing.
Yeah.
Shoot under the ramp to get double or nothing.
Right.
I'm never confident that I could ever do that right, and oftentimes if I've done it successfully, I get a bad return and it drains. So I don't do it. I just like take my points. Yeah. And then the game that I managed to cheat on was Keno, which gave me I think 125 million.
Yeah.
Just for that. I mean, if I had doubled it up, it would have been a lot of points.
Right.
But once you complete all 4 of those, it lights a mode called Casino Run. So you shoot it up into the same scoop.
Yeah.
And it you have like 45 seconds or so of just, you can do whatever you want. You can drain it, but you lose time, I think, if you drain. But you don't lose your ball if you do. Okay. So you shoot it into one of the 2 eye holes, and a slot machine starts. If you get you start off with like 1 bomb diffuser or whatever. But if you get a bomb, you lose everything. You don't get any points. So like I ended up getting like 450 or so million on that. And I'm like, I'm taking it. So like I ended up with like 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So which is like it's like
sounds like it
in the A division. I think like the scores were closer to 4 billion. But it was pretty good for little old B division me. And so I won that, and the last game of that, and I'm not going to go into quite the detail for the remaining rounds because those games I did not quite know the rules, and but the last one was 8-Ball Deluxe, so it's not like a super old game, but it's an older game. So there's drop targets on the right side, each of them having a number of a ball. Yeah. And you don't normally want to hit drop targets because that sends the ball out of control. But in this particular game, the way to get the most score is to, knock all of those drop targets down. And then there's a small little, it's not quite a ramp, but a small little area above those targets that has the 8-ball. So you hit all those targets down, then hit the 8-ball down. Yeah. And then there's a little, I think it's another scoop or something like that. Someplace for the ball to land. Right. If you get it in there, you get a whole bunch of points. If you do those things in that order.
Right. Did you do that?
Yes.
There you go.
And so if you do that, you get lots of points and you win. I almost had 1 million on that game, and then and everybody else was not quite as. So I won every game in my first round. And
there you go.
Yeah, so I fucking.
So you made it out of the quarters.
I didn't. I was worried that I was just gonna tank, and like the first thing I did was tank, and I was just like fuck. But I did exceptionally well that first round. I was playing against some good people, and I've never done that well in a competitive situation before. So like this past week, I went to do a little practice, and I fucking blew ass.
It's like what they say about theater is you have bad dress rehearsal, you have a great opening night.
Yeah. So that's basically what I did. Yeah. And then the semifinals, I did okay. Yeah. But like, so when I was like, I didn't expect, like, I really thought it was over. Like when we were done our last game, which was a lot of EMs, a lot of old electromechanical games. Okay. So like ones with lots of racist stereotypes.
Oh no. Okay.
At least 2 of them had like caricatures of Native Americans. But it was the time. So yeah, I did okay, and then when we were all tallying up the points and whatnot, we looked at the scores. There was the guy Derek who spoilers, ended up coming in first. He had the most, and I had 11 points, and the 2 other people had 10 points.
Right.
So I squeaked into the finals. Like right. I was just I was not expecting it. They're like, yeah, no, you have like 1 more point than us. So you're going to the finals. And so I was just like, I both said, fuck, but that's great.
Right. You're tired.
Fuck. I was beat. Like, like.
Because you've been on antibiotics for like a week.
Yeah. And I still have like an inner ear thing.
Right.
And I was just tired in general because like, that first, the quarterfinals, like I played pretty long games because I was doing really well.
Right.
And so they lasted a little longer. And yeah, so I made it to the finals, and then I fucked. I just fucking. I was.
The wheels went out.
I like the people I was playing. I'm not to say anything bad about the people I played with prior to, but the guys that like I was playing in that final round, they just had a lot.
They were the creme de la creme.
Well, that and like I imagine they had a little bit like they were really good players. Like you don't make it to the B finals,
right?
Except for me, apparently, without being pretty darn skilled, and all 3 of them were very good, and they I think I belonged in 4th, like right. in that group, okay. Like as far as like, which is what ended up happening. So,
how many people were in the final 4, or were there?
It was final. So there's a 4-person. It's typically a 4-person group. Sometimes with the way math works out, it's a 3-person, but
right. Okay.
For the most part, it was 4-person groups for almost all of the finals.
Okay.
So yeah, like basically getting there, I was guaranteed 4th, and that's what I got.
Okay,
I came in 4th place, and I won almost $100.
Sweet.
So, which basically paid for my pinball hobby this past number of months.
Right.
So I broke even, and I got a little plaque, which you saw before the show.
It was a sweet looking plaque.
Yeah. So the top 4 get a plaque, and I was one of them. And so my first endeavor into the world of competitive pinball yielded me a modest victory.
I should say this is a pretty good victory. 4th is good.
Yeah, I mean, I did not expect. Well, first off, I did not expect to make it to any finals.
Right.
Second off, I did not expect to get to the final round of the finals.
Yeah. And
but the last part, I did not expect to get 4th place in the finals. Which if you get to the second one, then I would expect that. I did expect that.
Yeah. No, but it's cool. I'm not good. I don't have any sort of competition victory thingy. I don't win things.
Well, how many competitive things have you participated in the last 10 years or so?
Not a lot.
So you don't know that.
You mean you have to enter competitions in order to win competitions?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You can't win if you don't play.
Yeah. I guess you're right. When you're right, you're right, Steve.
Hey, I mean the next season starts up in January.
I'm terrible.
Southern New Hampshire has, I think, is the closest one to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm terrible at especially at pinball, but I'm terrible at all.
But pinball is difficult, and you practice, and you know the rules, and you get better, which I apparently did. Like I used to say, I sucked at pinball, but now I feel like I'm pretty okay.
I'm a competitive writer. Does that count?
Can you be a competitive writer?
I don't know. I've applied to a couple of contests. I got to apply to a couple more tonight.
All right. Well, fucking.
So that's competition, I guess.
Yeah. Do you have to read like against them, like yelling really loud into a microphone?
No, I've never done that. I don't know if that's exactly how beat poetry. No, like slam poetry works, but I have considered at least sticking around to see how slam poetry works. I haven't. I've gone to like open mics where like the slam.
You
poetry
should just do an elbow drop while someone's reading a poem. That's my kind of slam poetry.
If I were gonna get a Switch, I want to see like what kind of wrestling game is there and what kind of basketball game is there.
I think there's a NBA 2K.
Yeah, and that bums me out because I was always EA Sports NBA Live. I think that's what theirs was called. And they don't make them as much anymore. But I had like a whole team that I built every time I started a new NBA Live, and I had a lot of fun with that. I guess I probably have more fun creating the characters than I do playing the games sometimes.
Well,
I guess that just makes me lame.
No, it doesn't make you lame. It means you're a creator.
I'm Chris the Creator.
Yeah,
that'd be my stand-up name, Chris the Creator. Like Cedric the Entertainer, right? Like he's an entertainer. I'm Chris the Creator.
Like, I think you're trying to like. I don't know if people will. I think people actually might think you're trying to compare yourself to God.
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkquits.com/hot/173. And if you have anything to say about anything we've said today, including me comparing myself to God, you could send us an email to hot@clarkquits.com, or you can tweet us. I'm at ECC1977.
And I'm at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser. All one word. And if you want to send me some congratulations for being a pinball champ, I will be glad to hear them.
Yes. I think they should.
Yeah, do it, fuckers.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. It's getting really dark in here.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing we're done.